And knowing that they were treated that way just makes you see the world differently. It's interesting how it's like the Japanese soldiers, they have spies everywhere. You think they're Koreans. They're actually Japanese listening. They take that, go tell, and that's different.
I never heard about this.
You just changed it.
Very.
I think he collapsed.
Yeah, looking for some like a trailer.
Traitor?
Yeah.
포에가 왔어.
Oh.
무슨 중계를 줬다고만 하더라고.
Oh my god.
이 목사 이름을 댔다는 거야.
Unsu
No. I think the husband actually
was doing something under the table
no, he changed because he
for Korean independence, right?
because remember when they came he was about to get up and fight and his brother stopped him. I think he doesn't like the way they were treated. He must have done something about it.
빨리요. 아빠가 잡혀갔어요.
政治絡みの事件なんて一言も言うてへんからな。
でも弟は無実なんです。
他の社員のみんなもあんたのこと尊敬してる。でも血は争われへんちゅうことわざもある。弟の血が赤やったら兄さんの血も赤や。
私にはこの仕事が必要なんです。家族がいるんです。
悪いけどあんたにはやめてもらうわ。
You see, your
brother.
the blood runs through you. That means, and people respect you. That means, because they respect you, they're gonna follow whatever you say.
Right.
So they don't want anyone that like a leader.
Yeah, right.
They don't want.
It is so sad. I mean, because of the brother, he has to get fired.
Again, it's the idea of they see that you have leadership material. The same thing they treat. If they see that you're someone that thinks, that can think for yourself, you'll become a threat. You become a threat, they don't like you. So.
아빠한테 얘기 많이 들어서 엄마하고 언니 같대요.
그러십니까? 그런데 저는 두 분 다 모르는 분입니다.
どうしておきたかったんでしょうね。
아빠가 우리가 이분들을 몰랐으면 했대요.
あなたを守るためで
Brilliant
す。
the child is.
우리 지키려면 두 세상이 섞이면 안 된다고.
뭐 하시는 분들입니까?
無神論者であります。
교수님인데 공산주의 그리고 무신론자?
North Korea.
同じでました。
Communist.
평등하게 돈을 버는 평화로운 세상을 만들려고.
남정네들이 그 짝꿍만 쫓고 있으면 밥상에 먹을 거 누가 올리고 뭐 한겨울에 연락들어서는 어디가 구해핍니까?
운해에서는 때 의자 길이 안 와.
아버지 꺼내와야지.
言っても無理ですよ。
안 될 거래. 엄마! 견디었냐며!
It's heartbroken. You don't know anything about the husband.
It's not just that. I mean, the husband did try to keep them out of it, but he was fighting. He was doing the right thing.
There's no communication, nothing so ever like this.
He's trying to keep his family safe. You see? But he was fighting. You don't understand. Think about it. If you just...
You talk to me everything. End of the day, put out from the prison and kill you.
솔로몬이 착한 아다. 우리가 바르게 키웠다.
노아 형도 바르게 키웠잖아. 근데 어떻게 됐어?
No, I am.
자식을 아무리 사랑해도 다 알 수는 없어.
I think they put her in jail as well. And then that's
He's
why...
just 7 years old.
Yeah, they just left him.
가자.
Now I don't want this movie to finish. You finish, I'm gonna come there. Oh man, they finish it on me and then they don't explain what happened to that guy. I'll be so pissed.
뭐야?
우리 시도해?
모르겠어요.
Want to make her feel.
Yeah.
Want to put sand in her feet. Yeah, it's like Hawaii.
Car?
I don't know.
우연히 하나짱
지금은 당신이 이해해요.
내가 다른 일 못 구할 것 같아? 그래서 이러는 거지?
내가 나가서 구걸하는 수가 있어도 절대로 안 공개요. 내 집에선 절대로 그렇게 못해.
그랄까지도 거들게 해줘있어. 아무것도 안 하고 있으면 이 답답한 심정을 어떻게 못하겠습니다.
She's amazing. Just the next day.
네 주변 그 누구보다도 앞서가야 돼. 그 자리에 오르면 놈들은 널 싫어할 거야. 하지만 아무리 널 싫어하더라도 존중할 수밖에 없지. 무슨 말인지 알아들었어?
네.
절대 뒤돌아보지 마. 앞만 봐.
What kind of 7 years old to understand everything like that? Watch. Give him clock, I think.
To give his mom.
이제 인상 펴고 어서 학교 가봐. 내일은 지름길로 가고 바보들이야 돌아가는 거야. 노아야, 바보로 살지 마.
Live like your daddy.
동서 혼자 보내는 게 영 걸리네. 걱정 마이소. 씨는 괜찮습니다.
In a way, what he's telling that boy is what she's doing. She's paving her own path. She's not waiting for anyone to do anything for her. So Korean used to do kimchi and not Japanese. So kimchi is a Korean.
Are you crazy? You think kimchi was from Japan?
I don't know, babe. I'm just saying.
Korea's.
See? Right there. That's how she started. Hustle. This is what this world is, babe. Hustle.
She's amazing. The actor.
She's watching. She's trying to see what's different. What she's probably gonna figure out something. It's hustle, babe. It's hustle. You gotta love it. Look at it. She's making it happen. It's hustle.
You know, one day I start to have part-time job and they say shout out like this. I didn't go next day. Like, quit the job because I don't wanna shout out.
Right, because you didn't have to, but she had to.
Yeah.
You see, when your back is in the wall, right? When your back is in the wall, babe, you do what you can to survive. You know? It's just beautiful to see what just happened. That was amazing, man. At the end of about 6,000 remained and became stateless people. 600,000 is a sum of them. They endured.
Endure. It's very hard to endure.
うちが18かこの時だと思うわ。うちが13歳に来ても。よう泣いてほんまによう泣いたさかいに。ケンペラ来てね、髪の毛、学校のおちらもう髪の毛長いからこうちょんまげまで。それでしょ。それを引っ張ってずるずる引っ張っていくのは私は見たことあります。98歳です。93歳です。 だけど自分の人生に自分が歩いてきた人生には何一つ
I choose for myself.
私は大きにも
I made my own way, my own path. I have no
自分
regrets.
で歩いて自分で道を
There you
開い
go.
て歩いてるのは何
That is life, babe. You see that? I made my own way. No regrets.
어머니は笑顔がすごくどないしよう嫁に行けるかな
It's beautiful. Wow. I found a lot of strength in those women, in their struggles.
Yeah. I didn't like how it wrap it up like this. I wanted to hear more story, but it was just end up. So I'm like, I want to know about what happened to Noah. I want to know about what happened to Minho.
Even if this was the end of the story, I think it's still perfect, really, because there was no happy ending. But they were there like 35 years. I mean, that's like a whole lifetime, right? So,
I mean, my grandma actually was born during that Japanese occupied Korea, and I thought about it like, I'm going to be 40 soon, right? My grandma, no, I shouldn't say.
I think what I also took from what they just showed is many reasons. You know, you talk about how your grandma is, but you can see.
そういう私は悲しく大きくなったから、あんまり人にはあんまり親切できんね。自分はそういうように大きくなった坂かなって自分なり思ったりするけど。
I used to really hate that. You know, when my grandma come to the playground, you know, she brings some food. Youngsu, eat this food, and then my friends come there. Grandma, can I have some? And they go away. Go ask your mom. And then every time visitor come to our house, she look at them how much they eat. Like I'm like, she's so cheap. Why don't you wanna share? But I thought about her life. Her life, half of her life was war. It's like a crazy war.
Trauma.
I remember sometimes, a lot of time, my grandma like look at the news and, oh, North Korea did something. She's so afraid. It's gonna be war. We gotta back up our ramen. Buy this, buy that. And she's like putting some stuff like a war kit.
Because she knows she has no control.
Yes. Every time, still, you know.
She's trying to be prepared. Just so she can see is the survival instinct. You see, and this is what I liked about the way Sonja got to selling kimchi, and you know, she worked hard. She reminds me so much about my mom. You know, just that mind of, yep, this is what it is. You get up and then you get things done, right? You don't wait for anybody. You don't wait for anything to come. It was that just made me love her more.
I mean, it linked to me a lot. Like, I feel strongly connect how I feel like, you know, coming to Boston at the first, how I smell the air.
Very brave.
And everything. I feel like I'm becoming Sonja, you know? What? What?
Sonja? What? You didn't even suffer. What do you mean, Sonja? You came here with Chanel bag. You came from college, coming and going to nightclubs and chill. And you have dad's credit card with you. Sonja.
Do you remember the kimchi outside?
There's so much about her story, perseverance. It just make her so admirable. Before she was exposed to the world, she knew what dignity was. She knew what being a go-getter. There's something in me just wanted her to overcome, you know, become something.
Do you remember any words?
I think I liked what Sonja said about her husband. The man I knew was a father, was a husband, was a pastor, was a good man. That was just everything about him. And I think the interrogator, he just didn't know what to say. I really wish she turned out a little different. The suffering that she went through, she was a brilliant woman. Towards the end, it was just her living in her anguish in a way. I would have loved to see her enjoy life a little more. But I think overall, it's very informative for me. And knowing that they were treated that way just makes you see the world differently. Japanese and Korean makes you see the world a little different. It's interesting how it's like the Japanese soldiers, they have spies everywhere. You think they're Koreans. They're actually Japanese listening. They take that, go tell, and it's just amazing. For storytelling, I'll say definitely good. Worth watching. Would I recommend it to anyone? Yes, totally, because there's just so much there that you would learn from. Definitely good.
So what point?
I think 6.5.
What make you think 6.5?
You know, it's not easy to put a story together that's like real. But nonetheless, if you see the way Titanic was, so Titanic was real, but you see how the director captured the story in a really unique way, right? The director here didn't really connect everything. He was trying to cover the whole experience for everyone. I think this movie was more real life than fictional. The Titanic was more fictional than real. See, even though it was real. Now, if they made it a little fictional, in Korea, you know, there were Koreans that suffered that became very good from their struggles. But he didn't cover that. You know what I mean? Like that guy, the way he covered that guy became rich, right? But it wasn't. But he portrayed him as a bad guy too. Even though he worked hard, suffered to get where he's at. In the end, he looks like a bad guy. You know. So that's why.
I see what you mean. I think that their goal is telling the world what was behind the story about history.
That is the problem with the movie. History is not enjoyable. It's one thing to have a documentary to say real life story. Right. This is what happened. Documentary of, but it's another thing to create a fictional story that people want to watch.
Right.
Enjoyable. You gotta put some things there to make some stories there.
It was like kind of telling us some nice story also about the into, and then it was actually a real story, and then it kind of changed to document. I think it's kind of disturb our connection, into the story.
Yeah, it's so touching story, right? Yeah. The girl, the father, that I connected with a lot, right? The earlier chapters, sometimes I get bored and I'm like sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't captivated.
I really linked deeply because I know the history, and what I had lots of Japanese friends. I always outdoor about Japanese culture. I love Super Mario. I'm really at the Dragon Ball, Slam Dunk, all the Japanese animation. I still love it. I mean, it's very tough, that feeling about Japan. What I don't like about, they don't admit the history and they don't say sorry. They just try to making excuse about why.
Do they pay restitution? Do they pay back Korea?
No. That's why Korean, it's never-ending story because of why.
Can you imagine, babe, your grandma watching this?
You know, when there's lots of Korean drama like this, and then my grandma was, 아이고, ome. I remember this. She's talking about that, talk about the, but it didn't come to me that much. I was young.
Right, you didn't know.
Yeah, I was young. I really don't care, and I was not even listen to her. But because of this Pachinko movie and my life experience, become a mom, have my family,
All right, babe. Let's call it. Gotta go to work.
Alright. Thank you for watching the movie.
Yeah, good movie. Good movie. Good movie.